Well, there's a lot of information that has yet to be made public, but here's what we know. Again, the layoffs did begin today, and while we have not been told how many will ultimately take place, Mass General Brigham tells NBC 10 it's accurate to say they'll number in the hundreds. MGB says, like most healthcare systems around the country, right now it's feeling industry pressure. While it has not detailed those pressures specifically, hospitals and healthcare systems across the country have had to overcome greater demands with a smaller workforce. MGB says it will soon face a $250 million budget shortfall, and the layoffs are being done in hope to overcome that. But it admits this is painful. A statement sent to NBC 10 reads in part, "We recognize the impact that this difficult decision will have on our impacted employees, and Mass General Brigham is providing market competitive severance packages, benefit coverage to them. We are grateful for the contributions of these colleagues and the value that all our employees bring to our organization each and every day." Now, the statement does give us an idea of the restructuring that will take place within MGB. The layoffs will impact non-clinical and non-patient facing roles, and certain management and administrative positions will be consolidated.
Well, you knew it was only a matter of time before one of the big corporates tried to figure out how they could lay off a bunch of people, mass layoffs without severance. And it appears Meta's going to be the one that tests this. They announced layoffs of up to 5% of their workforce. I think that's close to 4,000 employees. And they're using performance reviews in order to decide who they're letting go. Now, there's mixed signals. So if you're in Meta and you've got one of these severance packages, let me know. But I heard it's going to be minimal compared to what a traditional layoff package is. So maybe they're trying to skirt around the legal issue. Again, this just brings it into call. Are they phantom pips? Are these folks at a performance review after 20 years without any issues? They got one performance review and now they've been terminated. To me, this sounds like a way to turn over the folks they want out of the organization subjectively. You know, could it be age related? Could it be cost related? I would bet almost everything I have that it's going to be cost related, because they even said that they're going to backfill some of these positions. Guess what? They're going to backfill with cheaper people or offshore talent in order to do this. So again, I think this is just the first step. You're going to see a lot of these other big orgs follow this, especially if there's not a ton of pushback on what Meta's doing. Curious to see if this is legal, right? Our employment attorney, Craig Levy, I wonder if he's got any thoughts of, you know, if this is legal, especially if this was a phantom PIP or the first time in 20 years you've been written up and now you're terminated. Seems kind of shaky, because I've seen how these orgs work and how unorganized they are and how subjective these performance reviews are. So we'll see where it goes. And if you do work for Meta and you were part of this or heard how they've made this decision, I'd be curious to hear from you as well. So again, if you're one in Meta, heads up, I guess you probably know by now. And two, if you're in any of these other big orgs, it's all copycat. So this is going to be just the first domino to fall. So like I said, if you are a Gen Xer and you're caught in this and you're looking for a plan B, come connect with me. Again, we've got a number of free tools to help you think about life outside of corporate so you don't have to deal with any of this crap. Again, we've got a free Slack group of Gen Xers, almost 1,700 of us in there now, and also some other free tools to help you think about, you know, life after corporate. So as usual, if you're still in corporate, good luck.
YouTube family, it's YT, Wake 'em Up, aka Yate, back at it again with another video. Thumbs up this video, smash subscribe. Y'all already know we talking about these layoffs, man. As times get tighter, jobs have to tighten up their budgets. They have to loosen up their books. They got to get rid of some people.
What up, Nurse Gang? What up, TikTok? So breaking news. Mass General and Brigham has just announced that they will be laying off hundreds of workers amid restructuring, and they're in a $250 million deficit. Let's take a deeper look into it. Mass General Brigham is planning to lay off hundreds of employees over the next 2 months as part of a broader restructuring effort to address a significant budget deficit. In a statement, the healthcare system announced that we'll be consolidating certain management and administrative positions with a focus on non-clinical and non-patient facing roles. This move is aimed at enhancing efficiency, reducing costs, and maximizing support for frontline clinicians. As a nonprofit integrated healthcare system, Mass General Brigham is firmly committed to investing in their mission of patient care and quality outcomes, said the spokesperson. The statement also revealed that Mass General Brigham is facing a $250 million deficit, and the layoffs are part of an effort to cut $200 million in salary and benefit expenses. The first round of layoffs is expected to take place this week, with a second round scheduled for March. MGB is the largest private employer in Massachusetts and currently employs approximately 82,000 people. What are your thoughts? Let's talk about it. I could say they're going to get rid of a lot of probably nurse managers, staff development, things like that. Let's talk about it.
We hearing some of the biggest companies laying off now. What do y'all think the next step is? Do you think there's a solution, or do you think automation will be the solution to solving all of these layoffs? Because they're talking about a $250 million deficit. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money.
A 96-year-old company is closing its doors. Jack Cooper Hauling, that hauls brand new cars for GM and Ford, is closing its doors because they don't want to haul any more cars and trucks. You see, GM and Ford have both suffered massive amounts of production downfalls, and this is resonating through the whole market, especially the transport division. But I want to show you a couple of things. This is GM's stock price in the last, since the beginning of the year. And here is Ford's. They're both in the toilet. You see, they're telling us the economy is good and everything's okay. The inflation rate is low, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is when you have big, heavy hitters of Ford and GM, these guys not necessarily just make cars and trucks, right? They make heavy equipment. They make stuff that makes stuff happen. That's why it's called General Motors, right? They general of everything. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. The fact of the matter is that this company, 96 years old, woman-owned, is going out of business. And it's a very sad day because the CEO even wrote a letter to all of her employees and told them about what was going on. It's actually heartbreaking, and it goes to show you that there is no mercy in what's about to come. There you have it.
Apparently, Meta is laying off 3,600 workers this week, starting today. These were the employees that were announced to be laid off in January, but apparently they're not only laying off employees in the US, they're also laying off employees in other countries as well. Mark Zuckerberg mentioned that he's doing this because he has decided to raise the bar and that those employees were underperforming and that he only wants the strongest talent at Meta. And this is because they are focusing on the smart glasses that nobody wears and enhancing their AI. Mind you, Meta just did a mass hiring in September 2024 and staffed around 72,000 people. We all know in these cases that the new hires are always the first to go. What's diabolical in this situation is as they are firing people this week, they are also starting their recruiting process to have people fill those positions, which can take until mid-March. Dude, no one is going to want to work for you. Like, broski, read the room. You're the main reason why the tech industry is messed up and why people have been laid off for months, even years. He overhired during COVID and laid off staff in November 2022. He laid off more people in 2023 to focus on his AI, and now he's laying off people starting today. And apparently the reason why he's classifying these people as low performers is because he simply doesn't want to pay them severance. But I can assure you one thing, these people are not low performers. They go through multiple rounds of interviews and do several assessments in order to get a job at Meta. These people are innovative and highly skilled, and I wish the best for them in their future. They don't deserve this.
Telling y'all the workforce ghetto is skeechy. Y'all know what skeechy mean? What is that Detroit slang? The job market ain't right. It's not right. Look how these people do you. They don't really care about you. They don't really care about us. They'll do you any type of way. Hire you temporarily to commit to doing a couple tasks, it seems like. Then once you're done, hey, we got what we needed out of you. We don't need you no more. Back to focusing on AI. Because that's what we want. We want to get our AI so advanced that we don't need humans. We know that's their agenda. So I don't feel like any job is against that agenda. I feel like they all are, especially a company like Meta. You know? They're already talking about it. They're the ones behind this. They're the driving force behind this. All of these elites, right? I wouldn't work for them. That's risky. That's real risky. Yeah, it's a good career, but it's not really a career because it's not long lasting. There's no longevity these days.
So we're calling the meeting today because unfortunately we had to make the very difficult decision to do several layoffs, as we all know, because of the loss of federal funding. So the agency, the admin, has tried to do everything possible in their hands to mitigate the issue and try to work on things, but sadly we do not have the possibility right now to keep you in your current position or offer you a different one at this time. But we
So, yeah. I know that God is faithful and He has a plan for me. He has a plan for my family, and everything I truly believe happens for a reason. And He's going to provide. I know that He is going to provide, and I'm going to be able to share what He has done for us, what He has done, and what He's going to do for me and my family. So I will continue to post my TikToks, sharing the gospel, sharing how good God is, how faithful He is, and I also just want to say while I'm here, thank you, because I've grown, in a matter of weeks, almost to 10,000 followers. I want to say thank you to you guys. I know God has something in store for me, and I'm going to continue to say yes.
I've been trying to wait on a moment to pull myself together to process what I'm feeling. And I was laid off from my job today. I was I can't say that I was surprised, because we had a few people laid off on yesterday, and I knew in my spirit that it wasn't over. I knew that they weren't done. I was the last person that they laid off. I'm not necessarily crying because, I lost my job, but it's, you build friendships, these people become family, and, it's normal, it's natural to worry about the unknown. And my family's already in a way financially where my husband and I have been doing the best that we can to provide not only their needs, but, their wants. And God has made that possible. And I know that this has to be a God thing. Even if it's not a good thing right now, it has to be a God thing. Because I have nothing else lined up. I have no other prospects. Before yesterday, I wasn't expecting to lose my job. I was making plans for this year concerning my job and my life, and I wasn't expecting to lose my job before yesterday. And I'm like, Lord, I know if my name came up that you have a plan for me and my family. So I don't know what that plan is, but I know my requirement is to stand. Even though I don't know the answers, I don't know what's going to happen, I have to stand. Stand on the word of God. Stand on Romans 8:28. Stand on Jeremiah 29:11. Stand on Philippians 4:13. also stand on Philippians 4:12. And I have to know that God is still worthy to be praised, even in trouble. This is just a new way of trusting Him, because I don't have a job for the provisions. That's not to say I'm not going to look for something, but I'm putting my trust in God, because this is out of my hands. And I don't know what our future is going to look like. I don't know. But what I am sure of is that God won't see us hungry, homeless, or go without. So y'all just pray for me. Pray for my family. And I'll keep y'all posted.
Might sound cliche, but sometimes one door closed so another one can open. This is a real thing. Let that door close. Let that job let you go. It's not that they don't need you. No, you don't need them. In the grand scheme of things, everything always ends up working itself out. No matter what, everything goes how it's supposed to go. Sometimes you got to take one step back to take 10 forward. Sometimes you have to go through a season of change, right? Everything only lasts for a season. So sometimes this might be your season of rebuilding. It might be necessary right now, right? A lot of people are in their rebuilding phase right now. A lot of people. Just deal with it. Stay strong. Stay prayed up. And you're going to be all right.
Happy Monday. I never really get on here and speak, so I wanted to share a quick story time about what I've been going through for the past month. So, for those of you who may or may not know, I was laid off from my job on January 17th because the company decided that my position was no longer needed and that they're restructuring. So, backstory, I asked for a raise in December, and I was told the week of January 17th that I was going to have a meeting with with my managers that Friday, which would have been January 17th. When I came on the call, HR was on the call, and obviously I knew exactly what was going on. So that whole week I was panicking because I'm just like, okay, it's either they're going to let me go or I'm getting my raise. Because when I asked for the raise in December, they said that I won't be getting it right now, but they would look into it for the new year. So a little backstory, all last year, work has been very slow. I always asked for work. I was always attentive. I was always a good worker. I was the first employee hired by this company in 2023. And that's what really got to me, because I got most of these things up and running. Like, literally, besides my directors, I was the first employee that they had, and I onboarded 16 employees within my time there. And I felt like last year, every time somebody got hired, it took away from my role, and I started to have less and less responsibility. So like I said, I always asked for work, but there wasn't really much work for me. I don't want to say that maybe I messed up asking for the raise, because everyone should be entitled to do that. But because I had access to all employee files and stuff, and I always knew when they were hiring and their salaries, I realized that I was the least paid person. And again, my tactic is I'm willing to do more work to get a higher pay. My position was executive assistant / operations coordinator. And in April, they decided that I will no longer be considered an executive assistant. I will strictly be operations coordinator because I don't do so much EA work anymore. So I was a bit frustrated. It didn't take away from, my pay, but I was a bit frustrated because I worked very hard through all my fields to become an EA. That was always my end goal with a company, to be an EA. A coordinator more so has a cap to them. It has a cap to that role. And that's not the role that I worked hard for. Before I make this story too long, I've been contemplating about asking for a raise since maybe September. And I'm someone that I'm not very confrontational, so I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know how it's going to go. But with speaking to other people, it's like the worst they could say is no. It's either a yes or a no question. So it took me months. Like I said, in September, I've been wanting to ask, and December is when I finally asked. And I felt like my email asking for the raise kind of triggered them as well too. And I felt like a shift in the way like a few people were towards me after I asked for that. I felt entitled because I'm just like, how could I ask a raise when I don't really get that much work? But at the same time, I'm like, it's not my fault that I don't get that much work. Like, I work here too. Everybody else's schedule is fully busy, but mine isn't. So that's not my fault. But in the email, I basically said like, when I first did the application for this job, I put a certain salary. I didn't get that. But because I was in desperate need of a job and I really liked the company, I was willing to settle and just work my way up. Then I mentioned that I realized that like I'm the lowest paid one here, and again mentioned that I'm willing to do more work to get there. Also, I mentioned that an EA's an executive assistant's salary could go up to 250K, but an operations coordinator, I literally did like endless research and fact finding and fact checking before sending that email because I needed to cover my tracks, and attach the email were all my accomplishments that I had thus far with working for the company. So I gave my manager a heads up that I was going to be sending an email in regards to my salary. And she's like, okay, send it when you're ready. And then we spoke about it in one of our check-ins, and then she sent me an email back saying that I wouldn't get the raise right now. Let's wait into the new year to revisit this, so and so. So I'm like, okay, well, that's relief to me. It's either I get it or I don't. But because of how slow things were, I took applying to other jobs very seriously since October. And another backstory, like my business is career services, business consulting, etc. So I always applied to jobs, and just so I could see like how the job market is, um, you know, tracking resumes and all these things just to keep myself on my feet and to keep myself more aware so I could give my clients advice on what they need to be doing and etc. So I started actively really applying for myself because I'm like, okay, like I need a higher pay. Like, I don't want to leave here. I love the benefits. My coworkers are great. The company is great. It's fully remote. I've been working remote for 5 years between this company and others. So I want to make sure I stay here. And I know that a lot of companies are transferring back in to office, but this company doesn't have an office. So I'm just like, I really would want to stay here. And I would love this to be my last job before I be full-time entrepreneur. And I knew I'll see it myself at this company for 3 to 5 years at least, or whatever the case may be. But I felt like laying me off was just so anal, and I don't know, I don't want to talk bad, but I was really hurt by my transition out, to say the least. And I didn't hear from like people that hired me. I didn't hear from like much coworkers. And again, this might be me feeling entitled, but at the same time, like I don't know, like it was just so hurtful to me, and I've really been down bad about it. Like, I got a severance and stuff, okay, but regardless, that's not residual money. Like, that's money for right now. That's money to make sure that my bills are covered for just a couple of months or 3 months or so. But I still have to like live my life a certain way, and I'm discouraged because my birthday is this month. It's February. I turned 30 this month. I felt like my life was finally falling into place, and now it's a restart. And I understand that life is all about restarting, but it's like, damn, the holidays just passed. Had a loss in the family last year that like impacted all of us. So it's just like I'm finally like feeling like I'm getting myself together and I could make these moves and do these things and just continue to like build my life. And now I'm stuck here. So now it's just like a process of finding a new job in a terrible job market. And I felt like I was lucky for the job that I had. So again, I was really hurt about it. So this is my confirmation to you guys. Like, don't stop yourself from asking for a raise. Like, if your company is going to let you go for asking for a raise, then so be it. Consider that a blessing to you, and consider that you were too good for the company, or whatever the case may be, because I know my capabilities. I know I'm a hard worker. I'm a workaholic. And that like is a good and a bad thing for me. But it's just like, I would just have to say it's never my loss. It still hurts, but I just know that God has bigger plans for me. So thank y'all for listening. This was really long. I never even posted something this long before, but thank you, y'all. And I hope that whoever's going through the same thing, you're not alone. We're together in this, and it may be hard. Don't know when I'll have a job again, but
I feel like this: if you lose your job right now, you really are getting ahead, because most jobs are going to be taken, right? We already seen the Tesla robot is dropping this year now. It's real now. It's this year, 2025. It's officially 2025 now. It's coming. Factories already have robots lifting boxes and shipping orders and all of that. There's already robotic cleaners like janitors and surgeons, and a lawyer already represented a client. So we're living through this now. We're living through the Jetsons. So get ahead now while you can instead of waiting. A lot of people they're not gonna know what to do. In 2030, a lot of people they ain't gonna know what to do. You still got 5 years before the agenda is in full effect, right? Supposedly, or as much as they'll be able to do it, right? So get ahead right now. That's all I'm saying. It's time for everybody to get ahead, see the writing on the wall, like I always say, and don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. This is a time to get ahead. This is a time to rebuild. But listen, if you lost your job right now and you need something to do, get on YouTube, post about it. These are the channels that's going up right now. Talk about how you lost your job. Talk about how you never going back to a job ever again. Food for thought. That's something you could do. And age does not matter. The older you are for real, the more views you'll get. I'm seeing people 70, 80, 90 years old going viral. The time is now. This is the opportunity right here. There's a lot of people that's losing their jobs and going to YouTube and changing their lives, replacing their income. For real. Don't procrastinate though. Seize the opportunity. But like I said, you're going to do what you want. You make your own decisions. I love y'all, man. It's YT. Just here to give y'all a little bit of motivation. Not be a doom and gloom channel. It might not be all good, but it ain't all bad. And listen up, family. For anybody that's looking to go on their self-development journey, it's still fresh in the year. We 2 weeks in. We 2 weeks into the month. It's not too late. Don't forget those so-called New Year's resolutions. I already know they didn't work out, but it's not too late. Don't make next year your year. This could still be your year, but you have to lock in. It's time to lock in. If you need help and you're looking for an accountability partner, a community of like-minded men, right, that'll be showing up on a weekly basis on calls, a support system, sharing their mind, ideologies, different ways to make money, different ways to level up, then I'm here to help you. I just want to put y'all up on this opportunity. I have a call coming up tomorrow, literally. I would love to see you on there. All you have to do is click the link in the description to register for the call. It's only 5 slots left, so make sure you take action. I love y'all, man. It's YT, aka Yate. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace. Shalom.